2024 ND3 Miata is back out here at Laguna Seca. We're running with Lightspeed. Use the coupon code below if you want $25 off your next event. And the full mod list, as always, is down in the description. What you need to know is that I changed the brakes this time around. So I was getting brake fade, overheating the brakes the last time I was here at Laguna Seca, and also more recently at Sonoma. So big shout out to my buddy Alex, who helped me install the new brakes last minute, and also 949 Racing, aka the Supermiata guys, who helped get those shipped expedited to make it happen right before the weekend. So previously we were G-LOC R10 in the front and R8 in the rear, and now we've upgraded to G-LOC R16 in the front and Porterfield R4s in the rear. We're still running the Supermiata Tecna Coilovers, full stiffness in the front and 5 clicks from full stiff in the rear. The reason I don't go full stiff in the rear is that I'm still running the OEM sway bars, and if I go full stiff in the rear, it gets a bit snappy. Once I upgrade the sway bar, then I will be able to run the rear at full stiffness as well. Konig Hypergram 17x8 wheels wrapped in Falken RT615K plus tires. Don't worry, we're going to be upgrading those from this prior gen 200 treadwear to something more modern that's coming up very soon at the next track day. And we're also running Supermiata's track alignment with their offset knuckle bushings to get additional camber in the front, because these guys are the experts that know how to set up Miatas properly for the track. For those who haven't watched my first Laguna Seca track day with my ND3 Miata, I hit a 150.2 as my PB, and I was trying to hit a sub 150, a 149, which was my predicted, but then I got the checkered flag last session, so I think I can hit it today, because hitting a sub 150 with the RT615K plus and a 215 section width and the Tecnas, I think is a reasonable goal. Check out my line here at turn 2. I'm going to be playing with that later in the video. We're already 3/10ths up, and we're going to have a professional race car driver ride passenger with me in the next lap and critique my line and my driving, and we're going to see if that actually helps me go fast. But already we are more than 5/10ths up, actually 7/10ths up from my fastest lap that day. Again, building more confidence. Now that I have these better brake pads, it actually helps me a lot, because previously I would start getting more and more conservative with the brakes as I could feel them starting to fade, obviously. Turn 6 here, that's one of those corners that you just have to build more and more comfort with it, carry more and more speed, because the price of getting it wrong means you go off into the gravel, and obviously don't want to do that. Brakes feeling a lot better as we enter corkscrew, not getting as much trail braking rotation as I was getting previously, but again, we're running new pads front and rear, so I'm going to have to relearn that, the exact brake tracing to get a bit more rotation there. Turn 9 and turn 10 are two of my favorites. Really want to hug this apex right here at turn 10, because that extra camber and compression gives you a lot more grip that you can feel if you get it just right, without hitting that turtle, of course, that sausage, the yellow thing. That'll damage your wheels or suspension. Alright, solid. More than 2 seconds faster, which is expected. You're, starting the day slow and then working up. We're going to hit a 151.15, but now it's time for a lap with professional race car driver Mario Lento in the passenger seat. So having a passenger in such a light car, because the Mazda Miata in this configuration weighs only around 2,300 pounds, it actually is a substantial change to the overall weight of the vehicle. So I'm going to be going slower than if I had no passenger, but we're already sub 151. Not loving the line there at turn 2, still playing around with it. I'm loving how much sharper the front end is feeling with that additional camber. Dancing with the car a little bit, trying to get more rotation at corner entry with some trail braking. But that additional camber and caster has really transformed the front end. Gives you more confidence on track, more immediacy to your inputs, and also better steering field with that caster. Now we're already close to 5/10ths up from the prior lap, just from building comfort and just carrying more speed, braking a little bit later. Again, making some small micro corrections with the wheel. Approaching turn 6, trying to carry as much speed. Actually going slower than the prior lap, because you can see from my delta, it was 0.7, now it's 0.67. So losing whatever gains I had from the prior lap. Approaching corkscrew, still not quite getting that delicious trail braking rotation that I was used to with the old brake pads. Still going to be working on that. As you can see, I've adjusted my line here on turn 9. Staying more in that cambered part of the track, which allows you to carry more speed, although we are losing again, compared to the prior lap. Here, I miss the apex. I don't get that sweet compression and that added grip, so time to improve there. I'm just loving the inputs on this ND Miata, like the heel toe. You just got to get used to that slightly sluggish throttle, and then you can heel toe perfectly each and every time. The steering is nice and alive now. And across the line, a 150.25, which is right around my PB from last time, but I have a passenger in the front seat, which means I'm effectively actually faster. And we're now back to driving solo. Mario was super generous with his time. I asked him for a debrief after he rode passenger with me, and Mario's a nice guy, so he gave me a lot of very positive things to say, but I said, thank you, man, but I need you to help me go faster. Like, what can I be doing better? And he had a lot to say. So, number one, approaching turn 2, he didn't like my line. He said, your line could actually be tightened up a bit. So right here, we're gonna do a double apex. Bam, try to get the maximum rotation right here at the middle, and then get on the throttle earlier. He said that alone will save time, and boom, look at that. We're 5/10 up already just from turn 2. And now approaching turn 3, and for actually many of the turns on the track, he's asking me to turn in a little bit later, get a bit more rotation, and get on the throttle earlier to carry more speed at the exit. So, trying that out for most of these corners, not for all of them, but for most of them, that's been a common theme. And the way to do that is, of course, I need to slow down a little bit more before turn-in to allow for more rotation. But it allows me to get on the throttle a bit earlier. And remember, the goal here is to hit sub 150 today. We're almost there. We're just about a 10th shy on the predicted. Turned in a little bit too early there on turn 6, but that's all right. We carried enough speed. Going up this hill right here, the Miata does feel underpowered, but just about everywhere else, the Miata feels fine. Laguna Seca isn't quite as technical as Sonoma though, so you don't get into the same rhythm. Again, aiming for that third tree there as we go over corkscrew. Now I'm staying more towards the middle here before turn 9, whereas previously I would track out too far wide and that would get me off camber. That was another suggestion from Mario. I think, there we go, getting a bit of correction. Just barely making the apex. If I can maintain this, we'll be sub 150. Oh, there we go. We're about to hit the goal. That's a 149.65. I'm pretty hyped. But I'm getting into a rhythm, so let's see if we can go even faster. Again, here we're going to go for a double apex. With these new brakes, I'm still not quite getting the feel of trail braking rotation in the same way that I was able to with the R10 and R8s. Again, trying to turn in earlier and get on the throttle earlier at most of these corners. Turn 3 and turn 4 especially. Turn 5, Mario was saying I'm actually doing fine, so I'm not really trying to change that. Using more of the track as well. We're already 3/10 up. And gotta love that the Miata just lap after lap, so consistent, no overheating, no drama, engine temps are fine, tire temps are fine, brakes, again, we're having issues in the past. There is one thing that surprised me though, which is that even with these R16s in the front, I'm still getting a little bit of fade with the brake pads. They're, the initial bite isn't quite there, they're a little bit softer than they should be, and these are R16s, they're pretty aggressive. So I'm thinking that I need to do some kind of ducting in the front to help with the brake cooling in the future, but this still does feel noticeably better than the R10, R8 combination I had before. Carrying more speed on a lot of these corners, you can see the additional micro corrections. Same thing going to turn 10, hitting that apex, getting that extra lateral grip. We like that. And we're now more than a second up from my prior PB. Again, just pushing a bit harder in all of these corners. Big shout out to Mario for giving me that feedback, because look, I was just hitting right around 150 and now a 148.4. I'm pretty hyped about that. Now there are two more things I want to show you from this track day. Number one is one underappreciated and underutilized tool from many track day enthusiasts is tire temps. So you can get a pyrometer, you want one with a needle, you do not want just those laser guns. That's not going to be accurate for what we're trying to do here. And the pyrometer, you can actually go out, do a couple hot laps as it just did, pull into the hot pits, and as quickly as you can, you're going to stop the car and use the pyrometer and look at the tire temperature for all 4 tires from outside to inside. I'm just turning the wheel there, cranking it so that it's easier to get the outside, middle, and inside of both front wheels. Quickly taking off my gloves, grabbing my pyro. Should have had this plugged in already, which I did not, wasting a few precious seconds as the tires are now cooling. And I get my phone out to record the audio. And what I'm looking for here is the inside should be higher than the middle and the outside. However, the amount of spread there is going to tell you 2 things. Number 1, your alignment, and if your camber is too high, too low, and also your tire pressures. So here we have a huge spread from outside to inside. It looks like I'm actually running too much camber at the front because you don't want that huge of a spread. At the rear, a much tighter spread, and that's looking better. You want to have something like 15-20 degrees Fahrenheit from the outside to the inside. And you got to take that needle and really push it in those tread gaps over there to get the most accurate tire temperature. The other thing to look at is if the middle of the tire it should be splitting the 2, the inside and the outside. And if it's too high, then that means your tires are likely overinflated. And if it's too low, lower than expected, then it likely means that you're underinflated. Now, surprisingly, the spread at the front right, the front passenger side, is less of a spread than the driver front, which is not what I was expecting considering Laguna Seca is a counterclockwise circuit, so you would expect the passenger front to be hotter. However, it was substantial time between measuring those 2, so that may also be part of it. Now, the final thing is a massive, massive safety lesson. There is a BMW Z4 behind me. He wasn't in my rear view before, and he is there now. So, okay, I'm gonna do the right thing by giving him a point by here on the main straight. Because if someone is in your rear view, and they weren't there before, that means they're faster than you, right? Looks like he's choosing not to take the point by. His car has a lot more power than my Miata, so if he wanted to, he could have overtaken me on the straight. And just keep an eye on him. I'm paying attention to see, like, is he getting closer? Does he want to just follow me? Because I do have the X on the back, and we're running an intermediate group, so sometimes people want to follow behind an instructor. The X, for those who don't know, is the sign at these lightspeed events of an instructor vehicle. And he's still there, a little bit closer, right? So right here, right after turn 5. But now, watch what happens next. Absolutely reckless. I was not happy with that, but I avoided catastrophe. I normally run in advanced group. I have good track awareness, and therefore I knew that he was there. I saw him there. I acted accordingly, but that could have ended horribly, especially in intermediate group, which is point by only, which means, first of all, you shouldn't be passing without a point by for safety reasons, and number 2, you should never be trying to pass at turn 6, where if you are offline and not using that compression, you're flying off and into the gravel and possibly into the wall. So I bring it in immediately. I am like, that was too close of a call, not cool. So I bring it in. Again, just glad that everyone and their cars are okay. There was no incident, but I'm going to speak with the driver and see what he has to say. As soon as I rolled up, he was very apologetic, which was a good first sign. Why are you dive bombing into 6? Do you realize you could have tossed me into the wall?
I thought you were letting me by for some reason. I was just...
So right after 6, there's... Did I give you a point by?
No, you did not.
I gave you a point by on the main straight.
You did, yeah.
And
but
you
I
actually...
take it.
Yeah, you chose not to take it. Right. I was like, okay, cool. I'll keep an eye on him to see where he's at.
Yeah.
And if he gets close, I'll give him a point by. You start getting close to me around turn 4, turn 5.
Yeah.
Between turn 5 and turn 6, I could have given a point by, but, I'd have to slow down a lot.
Yeah.
but after turn 6, what is there? Big ass straight.
Yeah, I know.
So that dive bomb, I'm an advanced driver. I normally drive in advanced. My tires are very low grip, so I go in yellow right now. I have track awareness. Other drivers in yellow may not have track awareness, and you're gonna expect, oh, no one's gonna, you know, try to dive bomb me into 6 without a fucking point by. So, like, doing that is just gonna really increase the risk of an incident, and it's not good for you, it's not good for the other person, etc. So,
I understand.
I'm just gonna check in with Edgar. I think like this chat should probably be enough, but I'm just gonna see if he wants to chat with you as well. But
Sure.
And what was your name?
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. You coming here tomorrow?
I'm not. No. Just
All right.
just for one day.
All right. Well, I think that was the last session then. Be safe, and we'll see you at the next one.
Thanks. Have a good one. Sorry about that.
No worries, dude.
My
Thanks.
apologies.
Appreciate it.